Well, we've seen people that support Trump openly bashed in the face. We've seen their cars stolen. We've seen unprecedented physical violence, firings. The lady who joins me now, Scarlett Fakar, she actually was fired from her job. She's a news anchor here in Texas, and she said that her employer fired her once she supported Trump openly on social media. Scarlett, thank you so much for joining the show. Could you just let our audience know what happened to you and what you're doing about it?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, guys. So, about a week ago, the day after the election, I posted something personal to my private Facebook page regarding um, the election, saying that I was happy that Donald Trump had won. And this was again to my private page. Not 24 hours later, I saw that same post splattered across a couple different news sites, the Houston Chronicle being one of them. And I had discovered that one of my quote unquote friends, most likely somebody who disagreed with me, had screenshotted part of that post and sent it to them, which is what has made this a huge deal right now. So in the past week, my employer told me that until further notice, I'm not allowed to be on air. And so I was writing news scripts for other reporters slash anchors to voice over and then air. And yesterday they came up to me, Human Resources called me down to the office and they said, we are terminating your contract because you broke your social media clause in the employee handbook. So this wasn't anything that was in my contract. It was in our employee handbook, nothing specifically based on, politics or anything like that. But anything in our handbook says that if you, put our station in a bad light, they can terminate you. So this is kind of, I guess, just shocked a lot of different people because I think that more than just me have voiced their opinions as a journalist on, whether it's in conversation or on their personal Facebook page, they've done the same thing and they have not been persecuted for it. There have been articles released today by the same ones who posted something on me prior, were the first ones to post. FTV Live, for example, posted something this morning regarding another journalist that has done the same thing, but has not been persecuted for it. So it's just kind of a double-edged sword here, kind of a lose-lose situation for me. Don't really know why this all happened.
Right. Do you feel like you were bullied or targeted because of the Trump support? Do you think you would have had the same treatment if you had been a Hillary Clinton supporter?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would say, I've worked at 3 different local news stations in my career, and I can say that the majority of those that I work with, my coworkers, are liberal. And I've seen, I'm not going to ever oust any of my, friends or coworkers, but I've seen others do the same thing on the other end, even on air, and they've not been, fired for it. And this is a huge, I was fired. I wasn't, there's been nothing on my record. You can look at every single thing I've done over the past 4 years as a journalist, scour over my reports, if you will, and you'll not find anything unbiased in those reports, or bias in those reports. So right now I'm kind of just at a point where I'm like, why did this happen to me and not to a lot of other people that have been voicing their opinions on the opposite side of the spectrum?
Do you regret doing it, or is it something that you're kind of proud of at this point? Is it a badge of honor, or is it something like, oh my gosh? Is there any regret on your part?
Well, I've gotten a lot of hate comments. People commenting, calling me really horrid things, horrid names, that language I don't use. So in that matter, it's brought me down a little bit. But at the same token, I express my views as a individual. I didn't express them as a journalist, and I never have. So, I don't feel bad for my post. So at this point in time, I'm just going to say no. I don't feel bad for what I said because there was nothing that was not factual about it.
Right. What do you think are the next steps for you? If this had happened to me, obviously, there's a legal issue with that because all you're doing is supporting a president, someone who actually won the presidency. And we've seen this ridiculous narrative. We've seen this here at InfoWars, and we cover it usually every day. The mainstream media narrative where anybody who supports Trump, they're racist, they're homophobic, they're xenophobic, they're bigots, they're all of these things. And you would say that doesn't describe you at all. If you could just talk about, who you are as a person and not wanting to be labeled as that, because that essentially is the tagline that mainstream media has tried to pin on anybody supporting Trump openly. And they also encourage people to viciously attack and to go after Trump supporters. Has that been kind of what you're experiencing? Do you feel like you were painted in that box?
Absolutely. I definitely feel like there have been people who've commented saying that I'm racist for my comment. Again, there have been reports that have said that I've chastised African Americans. And once I reposted that to my own Facebook page saying that, look, this is what I said, this is what the media is saying, they retracted their statements and rewrote it in these same articles. So they know that you have to understand that there is a media bias, and they're trying to paint a picture of those of us that didn't support Barack Obama, didn't vote for him, as racist, when that's so far from the truth. As I said in my post, I'm a multiracial person myself. My father was born and raised in Iran. I've never in my life experienced anything, to where I've been accused of being racist, because everyone knows me. They know who I am. So absolutely, I feel like I've been, wrongly put in the media as somebody who has racist feelings towards people, and I don't. So absolutely, I just think it's ridiculous, everything that everyone is accusing those that have supported Trump of being.
Mm-hmm. What do you want to say to other people that have been bullied like this? Do you have a message for them at all, or is it just about kind of self-preservation at this point, and where do you go from here?
Well, I guess I could just say, you have to stand up for what you believe in. Right now in the country, there are bullies, exactly like you said. We're being bullied into thinking that what we personally feel, how we've lived our lives, is wrong, when, in fact, there are facts to support the things that we're saying, not in a mean manner. We're not screaming at anybody. We're just expressing our opinions. And look at me. I've been bullied. I've been pushed down for the things that I've said. That is right there up on my Facebook page. And I'm not ashamed to show it, because I want everyone to see that what I said wasn't in any way anything other than just my opinion on, the election. So I just say, I guess, to those people, just stand up for what you believe in. If you don't want to be persecuted like I am, maybe don't say anything at all. But if you're not afraid to stand up for the things that you believe in on your personal basis, then, there's no shame in hiding it.
Right. Well, Scarlett, it is absolutely a badge of honor for me to get to talk to you, frankly, today. Like many of us that are Trump supporters, I myself am one, publicly, you take a risk. And we've taken a risk the past few months, even speaking out on social media for that matter. And it's frankly a badge of honor to be able to be persecuted when you just for expressing your opinions and beliefs. Are you may I ask you, and you don't have to answer this if you're not comfortable, but are you contemplating any sort of legal action at this time? Like that, I feel like, what's happened to you is possibly actionable, I would think.
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about that at this point in time. I mean, I love my career. I love my job, and I think I'm very good at it. And I think there's a place somewhere for me. I don't know where that is yet, but at this point in time, I can at least say that legal action is not at the top of my list.
Right. It's probably about healing at this point. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. This interview is going to be up in the Nightly News tonight. It's also going to be up on YouTube later. Be sure. Scarlett, do you have a Twitter handle you'd like to throw to?
Yeah, Scarlett on TV.
All right. Got it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. For more reports like this, be sure to check out our website, Infowars.com. I'm Margaret Howell reporting for Infowars.com.
Alex Jones here with a very important news update to anybody out there that wants to be prepared. But it goes beyond being prepared. Our bodies absolutely must have the good halogen iodine or we will die. and you look at all of the thyroid problems and all the people that don't have energy and that have all sorts of hormone problems. And from my research, and a lot of just mainline research, it leads back to iodine over and over and over again. It's as important as vitamin C. If you don't get iodine, you die. But most people are just deficient, so they're low energy, they're sick. You got to have iodine in your body so that your body can produce the hormones you need. It is the base to so many things. And since I got into iodine 4 years ago, we've helped change the entire paradigm by developing and bringing to the public deep earth crystals from 7 to 12,000 feet of the purest iodine available. Other iodine comes from the ocean or from other byproducts of chemical facilities and is tainted. It's bound. It's not absorbable. I tried it. And I had incredible effects even with dirty iodine because the body needs it. When you don't have iodine, it absorbs the chlorine, the fluoride, and all these other bad halogens. It's such a game changer if you'll just research iodine for yourself. It's a fact that the federal government in the Midwest back in the 20s mandated a grungier form of iodine to the salt because people had low IQs, they had huge goiters, major problems directly connected to it. There are some studies that show a 15-point increase. Others show even higher. But it really is crazy to realize that this is something that is so deficient in our food chain, so deficient in our played out fields where different crops are being grown, but the federal government isn't educating people and telling them about it. That's why for a limited time, I want to encourage everyone to go to InfoWarsLife.com and get 20% off on the best nascent iodine out there from our research, truly pure Survival Shield X2. Again, that's Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2. Thank you for joining us in this brief news update. Do yourself and your family a favor and check out the importance of iodine for yourself. I think you're going to be blown away. And whatever you do, support the broadcast and get a bottle of Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2. Also consult your physician because if you've been deficient in it or have other issues, it can have some dramatic effects. As for me and most folks I talk to, it's been a game changer in the positive column, but still consult your physician because iodine is no joke. It's a key building block of the body. And if you haven't had it for a long time and suddenly have it, some folks say they've experienced things like a detoxing effect and things like that. You've got to have vitamin C. You've got to have iodine to live. You got to have water to live. Iodine is key. You must have it, but consult your physician first before you get powerful Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2 at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll free. We can answer your questions, 888-253-3139.